Hi there, tech people. How are you? It's Sean Worker, host of the Adapters Tech Show, where we explore the business trends and fads of business tech in travel, tourism, hospitality, restaurants, retail, and basically the service industry to look for the best and brightest minds to share their stories with you. So the big shout out today is, of course, to No Vacancy and our friends over at Hunter Gatherer, who at Hunter Gatherer powers us up to make these shows and make it fun for you. And of course, with our friends over at No Vacancy and Glenn Hausman, the great broadcaster that he is in the United States that connects our channels in Europe and in the United States. Today, I'm just delighted to have Matteo Ghedini join us. He is the founder of Brera, which is a well-known European service department brand and other boutique hotels. He's also an angel investor. He's a developer and an investor in his own right. So a big perspective on the property world that is out there and some of the complications that we've all seen in the last couple of years. So today's show is about the perspective of an investor, the user side of tech, and we're going to explore some of those topics and concepts with Matteo. Let's jump right in here. You're a highly educated European and entrepreneur. I mean, you're touching all facets of the investment world. And how would you describe it? Are you in service departments? Are you in boutique hotels? Are you in the development world? Are you, because you're touching all of it? What's the essence of it, of your business?
Very good question. I mean, to be honest, today most of my time is in service department. So I think my main focus is that. But I'm absolutely passionate about real estate as well, about tech. Do some small tech investments. So a bit of everything.
So you like to get at least some free time. So tell us very briefly, are you reading something right now that's inspiring you, a book, or how do you just learn?
I am, as many entrepreneurs, I'm a bit of a lazy person, so I don't like to read. I like to listen. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks every time I'm in the car or traveling and everything. So I'm listening a lot. I just finished one that is called Atomic Habits, which is about habits and the power of habits and doing small incremental steps all the time. That was a very, very nice read. And now I'm getting to another one on the history of humankind, guns, germs, and steel.
Oh, that's one hell of a book.
Very
I've read that book. It's a great book and well worth a read, everybody. So those habits is about being an entrepreneur, I'm sure, and maximizing your time. So Brera, what is the problem that you started Brera? What problem were you trying to solve? And then we'll jump into how you use tech for that.
Sure. So when I started Brera 10 years ago, the problem I was looking to solve was my own problem because I was a consultant. I was traveling for work extensively and I was staying months in a place, and it was usually an impersonal hotel. There was nothing fancy. And I wanted to give travelers a better option. And at the time, travelers had either the option to go in a hotel, which was very expensive and impersonal, or to rent a normal apartment, but that wasn't really an option, right? I mean, you have to be at least 6 months and put up a deposit. And so I made that sort of living experience flexible, took the best of both worlds and combined it in a way that people could access the privacy and the intimacy of an apartment by booking it online and making it really easy to access. That has evolved, I think, because that problem has now been sort of solved because the service apartment area is quite crowded today. So I think the problem today becomes really, getting access to in a standardized way to this.
And how are you doing that? I mean, you're using tech, I would imagine. What sort of tech are you using to standardize or drive efficiency in your business, and even share some of the platforms that you're using?
Sure. So we made a point 3 years ago to automatize, centralize everything we do. So we basically have no activities on properties anymore. We have standardized and digitalized the whole customer journey. A customer can basically do his whole journey without seeing us. We put a lot of value in seeing the guest, because we're an hospitality company and we have this empathic relationship with our guests, but there's no need for it, right? And of course the whole back office is completely automated.
What sort of products are you using? Did you build your own stack? Did you add to your stack? So you buy versus build?
I definitely buy. The funny thing is that we started building 10 years ago. We developed our own software, and then because it was just non-existent, there was no PMS for service apartments. But that was still suboptimal, so we went for off-the-shelf products, but they were very, very hotel-like. A service apartment has its own requirements and its own needs, and so we changed a lot of PMS. We found one now that we like, and we are adding a lot of other products on it, so that our tech stack is very big.
What product are you using?
We use CHOS.
CHOS.
Yeah.
And why did you choose them?
Well, we analyzed 10 different ones, and that was the one that enabled us to connect the most or the most interesting other features, but had already a lot of feature itself. So it's very easy to dock other softwares, other systems, but still you have all the main, all the main things in it, from booking to management of rooms. You have a housekeeping module. All sorts of things. What was really interesting was that we could personalize our invoicing rhythm, because the main difference between a service apartment and a hotel is that in a hotel you send the invoice after the stay. After you stay 3 nights, you send the invoice. Whereas in service apartment, you have to bill a person that stays 6 months in advance for the first month and then the second month. So it's disconnected to the checkout moment.
So, quickly, what would be your 10 seconds? What do we got on tips and takes? Here's the tips for a owner, operator, developer. Do this, not that.
10 seconds. Okay. Well, you need to have a clear vision of what you want, right? Because there's a lot of talks about which system is the best one, which system has the best image on the market, and so on, and it may not be the one that you need, right? So very clear vision where you want to be, and always a guest perspective, customer perspective. So what do you want the experience of your customer to be on the front end, and what do you want the experience of your team to be in the back end, and then build on that.
Thanks, Matteo. And this is the frustrating thing about having a short interview, but not so much, because now you can go and watch our extended vodcast that'll follow this with Matteo. And when you think about these themes that are coming out of this conversation, is you got to have a plan. You ideally buy versus build. And that point about what matters to your business and know it, for instance, like billing, a different model, but still a head in the bed, but it's a different way to build. So thank you, Matteo, for taking the time to do this. I hope everybody will tune in and click on the links to our sites, including, distribution on all of the usual podcast channels and distribution channels on Spotify, Apple, and Google, and of course, through YouTube. So a big thank you to our friends at Hunter Gatherer for powering this, and our relationship and partnership with No Vacancy, so that this gets distributed around the world. Again, thanks for taking the time to tune in to Adapter TechX. This was merely the tip of the iceberg. Click on the extended podcast and hear all the details from an angel investor, a developer, an owner, a brand developer, all of it wrapped in one. Thanks again for tuning in.